All right, class. Now we're going to go into lesson 2, calculating time intervals. The standard for today's class is tell and write time to the nearest minute and solve problems by calculating time intervals. The objective is you will be able to solve and answer questions by calculating time intervals. There we go. The essential question I want you to write down in your notebook is how would you compare time and how would you interpret and measure elapsed time in minutes? These are the questions that we will be learning about and solving in today's class. Okay, class. So now I want you to pause the video and try to answer these questions above. What do we know about analog clocks? Which hand shows the minutes and how many minutes are there in an hour? Once you are done, you come back to the video and we'll go over these questions. Now that we answered those questions, so what do we know about analog clocks? Analog clocks are what we see in our everyday classrooms and what we see and how we tell time. Which hand shows the minutes, class? That's the long hand on the clock. And how many minutes are there in an hour? Well, there's 60 minutes in an hour. So if you got all those correct, then you just passed those first 3 questions. So great job. Now for key vocabulary, I want you to write down this vocabulary word in your class notes. The vocab word is elapsed time. Elapsed time is defined the amount of time that passes from the start of an activity to the end of the activity. This is what we're going to be learning about today, elapsed time. So this is very important that you write this down in your notebook. Now, I have a short video that I wanted to show first before we go into today's lesson.
Time interval. Hello kids. Today we shall learn about time interval. Let us begin. What do we mean by time interval? It is the time taken to carry out any activity. For finding the time interval for a particular activity, we need to subtract the starting time of the activity from the ending time of the activity. Let's understand it better through an example. Tashi went to play at 6:30 p.m. and came back at 7:35 p.m. How much time did she play in the evening? Here, to find the time interval of the activity, we subtract the starting time, that is 6 hours 30 minutes, from the ending time, that is 7 hours 35 minutes, to get the answer. On subtracting, we get the answer as 1 hour 5 minutes. Thus, we can say that Tashi spent 1 hour 5 minutes playing in the evening. Kids, note that the time interval for activities that get over within a few hours is called short time interval.
Okay, class. So now we just learned about time intervals and how we did it. Now we're going to be solving problems for ourselves and working together to complete some of the problems. Okay, class. Now you see 2 clocks. So now I want you to pause the video once again and try to find the time for both clocks. As the students come back, the clock on the left says 4:50 and the clock on the right is 2:50. So if you got those right, good job. So now we're going to try to solve the problems just like we saw in the video. So now we can see that for the hours, it's 4 and 2, and for the minutes, it's 50 and 50. The first clock was 4:50, the second clock was 2:50. So the way that they solved in the video is the way we'll be doing it now. So 4 minus 2, class, is 2. 50 minus 50 is 0. So how much time elapsed was there? 2 hours. Now, class, I want you to try to solve these again as you pause the video, and we will come back to this once you are done. As the students come back, you will see on the clock on the left is 5:25 and the clock on the right is 1:30. Okay, now class, and this is what I want you to try to solve for yourself. So now I want you to pause the video, and once you are done, we'll come back and try to solve it. As the students come back, I will hope that hopefully they will say that for the hour, it was 4 hours. And then for the minutes, it was 5. So the time elapsed, or the time interval, was 4 hours and 5 minutes. So I would say, great job, class. Way to solve that. So now we're going to go into independent practice. As you can see, there is a link right here that I want you guys to solve. These are the 4 questions there's 4 questions on here that I want you to solve. So now I want you to stop the video again and go to the Google Doc and answer these questions. Once you're done, we will go through the answers. As the students come back, they will see that the question 1, the answer was 3 hours. The first clock was 2 a.m. to 5 a.m., which is 3 hours time interval. Question 2 was 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., which is 2 hours. Question 3 is 4 p.m. to 10 p.m., which is 6 hours. Question 4 was 10 a.m. to 12 noon, which is 2 hours. So if you got all 4 of these right, you understand time intervals and how you calculate them. So great job. So now for the formative assessment. So I want you to go back to the same Google Doc, and I want you to click on the link to the exit ticket. The exit ticket will have questions that I want you to answer, and we will come back to these when we're done. Okay, class. So these were the 4 questions that we originally answered. Now for the exit ticket. So these are the 2 questions that I want you guys to answer. So when you were done, you can put it on the exit ticket, and we will go over these when we're done. So for the first question, it was elapsed time. Elapsed time is the amount of time that it differs in between 2 different clocks or 2 different times. And then the answer for the first question was the first clock. It was 1 p.m. to 7 p.m., which is 6-hour time elapsed. So if you got both those answers, great job. Now for the class discussion. This is how we will end our lesson today. So I want you to go onto this Google Doc and answer the following question. How does being able to write and tell time intervals help us solve and understand time intervals? How does being able to write and tell time help us solve and understand time intervals? We will go over this tomorrow. So great job, class.